When someone brings up secret societies gathering in the woods or the government controlling the weather, the natural reaction is to just roll your eyes. Powerful institutions know how to use that exact reaction to their advantage. Labeling a valid question as a paranoid delusion is a highly effective way to shut down scrutiny and hide verifiable crimes. True. These investigations reveal the specific institutional mechanics that engineered modern public health, warfare, and consumer safety. For years, iPhone users noticed an irritating pattern. Older models seemed to suspiciously slow down the moment a new one was released. Tech companies quickly dismissed these complaints as user error or a simple lack of understanding about how aging batteries work. This side-by-side chart reveals the findings of software developer John Poole. He mapped out the processor speed scores for the iPhone 6s and found performance plummeting immediately after users installed the iOS 10.2.1 update. Apple had coded deliberate throttling directly into their operating system. In 1971, the stakes of institutional silence shifted from digital speed to human life. When the Ford Pinto hit American roads, terrified drivers reported a consistent pattern. Even minor rear-end collisions were causing the cars to burst into flames. Looking at this engineering schematic, the danger is obvious. To meet aggressive production deadlines, designers placed the Pinto's fuel tank directly behind the rear bumper, without structural protection. Any rear impact ruptured the tank and spilled fuel over the road. Ford publicly insisted the vehicles met safety standards. Then a reporter got a hold of the company's internal records. The executives knew the cars were explosive before a single unit was sold. The memos contained a brutal calculation. Recalling and fixing the vulnerable vehicles would cost the company $137 million. Settling the projected burn victim lawsuits would cost only $50 million. They opted to save the money and let the vehicles burn. When an institution mathematically calculates that ignoring safety is more profitable than fixing a flaw, public relations strategies shift to burying the truth at all costs. In the late 1950s, a sudden and mysterious spike in heart disease triggered widespread panic across the United States. Doctors scrambled to identify a cause, and a strict consensus quickly formed. Fatty foods were responsible for the crisis. At the exact same time, Americans were consuming record amounts of sweets. The Sugar Research Foundation realized that if public scrutiny turned toward their product, billions of dollars in profit would vanish. So they decided to purchase a different scientific narrative. For decades, the source of that narrative remained hidden. But in 2009, researcher Kristen Carnes uncovered confidential letters in the Harvard archives. The documents proved the sugar industry paid elite academics tens of thousands of dollars to publish studies that deliberately downplayed the dangers of sugar and pointed the finger entirely at dietary fat. This dual-axis line graph tracks the exact fallout of that corrupted research. Following new government dietary guidelines, declining fat intake is mirrored by a massive spike in sugar consumption. Food companies removed fat, but pumped their products full of sugar to maintain flavor. By secretly funding a few specific academic papers, a single industry dictated global dietary guidelines and engineered a health crisis that continues to affect millions of people today. Patterns of institutional secrecy also appear in high-level military planning. During the Vietnam War, rumors circulated that the United States military was controlling the weather. The Secretary of Defense testified before Congress, labeling the claims as completely wild tales. He lied under oath. The military was actively running Operation Popeye. Air Force planes were flying into storm clouds and releasing canisters of silver iodide to artificially extend the monsoon season. The heavy rainfall successfully washed out enemy supply lines and turned jungle roads into impassable mud. The military flew over 2,600 weather manipulation missions before journalists finally exposed the classified program in 1971. The revelation forced world leaders to draft an international treaty banning the use of the environment as a weapon of war. While the military turned the weather against its enemies abroad, other groups launched covert campaigns against the government itself. Faced with federal investigations, science fiction writer and Church of Scientology founder Ron Hubbard became convinced the state was unfairly targeting him. Hubbard launched Operation Snow White. He trained his followers in espionage, forging IDs, and infiltrating government offices to locate and destroy damaging files. His spies successfully breached 136 government agencies and even stole the fingerprints of vocal critics to frame them for bomb threats. The scale of the theft remained a complete secret until 2 operatives botched a courthouse break-in in Washington, D.C. The subsequent FBI raids on Scientology offices recovered over 100,000 stolen government documents, exposing the entire espionage network. Whether it is a military command operating without oversight or a private organization quietly breaching federal security, the state is remarkably vulnerable to those willing to exploit the cover of absolute secrecy. These established historical precedents leave us to evaluate the secrets that are still heavily guarded today. Every summer, deep in a Northern California forest, the world's most powerful politicians and CEOs gather at the Bohemian Grove to perform a private ritual known as the cremation of care. We do not have transcripts of what these leaders discuss off the record in the woods, but leaked records of Ford executives, big sugar lobbyists, and covert military planners show exactly why we have to rigorously monitor what powerful people do in the dark. Institutional gaslighting creates a lasting danger by conditioning the public to stop asking questions.